Hello, welcome back to my channel. I'm Steph, and today I'm gonna do the books and makeup tag because I wanted to have some fun today. I also need to get ready for the day because I have some things to do, and I saw this tag a long time ago and I've always kind of wanted to do it. I'm not great at makeup, but I like wearing makeup and I enjoy the process of putting on makeup. But I don't spend a lot of money or time on it because I am like more obsessed with skincare than makeup. So I just wanted to do this tag. I have the questions right here, and one thing I will say is there are a few steps in this tag that I don't personally do, so I'll still answer those questions and just do whatever I'm doing. So the first question is primer. Pick a book that left a lasting impression on you. And I don't use primer, but I use sunscreen. So I'm going to put on sunscreen while telling you about a book that left a lasting impression on me. Gotta take these off. I can't see anything, so there's that too. I didn't really think this through when I was considering doing this tag. But the book that I did choose that left a lasting impression on me was The Bluest Eye by Toni Morrison. Basically, this book is about two young black girls, and the narration is from one of the young black girls' perspective, and then it's kind of her observation about her friend slash not really friend, they're kind of acquaintances, and she's just seeing what's happening to her. So her name is Pecola, and she is obsessed with the idea of having blue eyes and just kind of fitting the Western white beauty standard. So this book really explores the ideas that we hold about beauty and who is beautiful and who is not beautiful, and how our society is very damaging for especially young black girls. The one thing that I really loved about this book, though, is that Toni Morrison uses the narrator, who is another young black girl. I think Pecola and her are the same age, and I'm forgetting her name. But in her perspective, especially when she's viewing what's happening to Pecola, which, you know, Pecola is suffering from a lot of abuse in her home, neglect, and just her self-worth is not existent. So when the other little girl is viewing what's happening to Pecola, she is sort of inserting her beliefs about how she thinks that being black is beautiful. She thinks the texture of her hair is beautiful. So there is like this dichotomy of perspectives where there is one little girl who absolutely loves herself and loves being black, and then there's another girl who is being completely damaged by Western beauty standards. This book just completely tore me apart. I was like sobbing at the end of it. I know there's another question on here that's like, what's one book that everybody should read, and I almost wanted to pick this for it, and I do think that this is a book that everybody should read, but I also realized that this is the book that first comes to mind that left the most like lasting and deep impression on me, because it's a book that I think about all the time, and I think it's kind of interesting that I picked this book while doing a makeup tag. So also didn't realize how distracting and doing makeup while answering questions would be. So the second question is foundation. Pick your favorite first book in a series. So I don't wear traditional foundation. I wear the CeraVe hydrating sunscreen. Yes, I know I already put sunscreen on. I just keep layering the sunscreen. I'm aware sunscreens don't add together like 30. If you layer 230 SPFs, it's not going to be 60. I'm totally aware of that. I just like to be safe, cautious, because the thing with using anything that has sunscreen and is a tinted moisturizer is that if you don't use a lot of it, it's not, the sunscreen in it isn't effective. So I just happen to really like this tinted moisturizing sunscreen because I don't like the feel of foundation on my skin. I also don't think foundation lays well on my skin. Like anything that's a hydrating tinted moisturizer of any sort always is just better for me, but this one is the one that I've been using for a while now, and I just really like the way that it sits on my skin and that it's not like thick and gross, in my opinion. That's why I don't like foundation very much. The thing I will complain about this is that it gets really messy even on the inside. There's not much you can do about it. It's just kind of the way that this is, but I still love it even if it's gross. I do clean it all the time. I just didn't do that yesterday. Sorry you had to see this. And the thing about this too is I've tried to apply it with different things like a brush and just a beauty blender. I think, and I have settled on just using this with your fingers and then going in and like cleaning it up with a beauty blender. That's what I've settled on. I think the brush leaves huge streaks, but also I suck at makeup, so I don't know. I realized I didn't say the book. The book that I picked was The Fifth Season by N.K. Jemisin. This book by far is probably my favorite book I've ever, like favorite first book I've ever read in a series. I usually tend to like first books in a series regardless, because you're being introduced into everything, and did I just get a shit ton in my hair? Oh. That's what happens when you're blind. Anyway, so I usually like first books in a series because, you know, you're being introduced to everything and everything's kind of like new and exciting, and then the second book usually has middle child syndrome. So I tend to like first books in a series. Obviously, if it's a series that I'm going to move on with, I've probably really liked the first book, but I think it was the fact that the experience of this book it blew my mind, and I read it so quickly. I need to reread it because I know I'm missing so much. This book, just the experience that I had reading it was really memorable, I think, and the fact that I was like trying to piece everything together that was happening. I actually wasn't sure going into this book if I was going to love it, and then I ended up just loving this series so much. It's one of my all-time favorite like science fiction series, and I try to push it on everybody, but everybody has pretty much read this book. But I don't know, I really love the experience. It's one of those similar to the first one that just had an impression on me, and immediately when I read this question I thought of The Fifth Season. So the third question is concealer. Pick a character you wish you could get rid of. I don't wear concealer, so I'll just answer the question, which is Mare from This Is the Red Queen series. This is the last book in the series, the only one I haven't read. So you're probably asking yourself why I don't like the main character of a series. I don't know, she's insufferable, but I read the first 3 a while ago, and then this last one came out like a year or so ago, and I just have not gotten around to reading it. I have like bittersweet feelings about this series because in retrospect I don't really like the series that much, but because I had a good time reading it, I was like making notes in it and I was talking to a few friends about the book as we were all reading it, so I had like a really good time reading it, which makes me want to finish the series and see where it goes. But at the same time, I actually don't love this series, so I don't know why I'm putting myself through that. Do you guys do that? I mean, it's looking like I'm not even gonna finish it anyway because I've had this book for a while and I never have any desire to pick it up. So the fourth question is powder. Pick your favorite last book in a series. And again, I don't actually wear powder, but for the sake of this video I do have some that I use like here and there. But for the favorite last book in a series, I'm choosing A Conjuring of Light because I really loved this series, but I thought the ending was probably the best part of the series. This was the strongest book in my opinion. I can't say that it's my favorite book like in the entire series because I really loved the second book. It gave off similar vibes to a book that you know, a book that we all used to know and enjoy. So it definitely has to be my favorite like ending in a series though, because a few of my like most favorite series aren't completed, and then I didn't want to use N.K. Jemisin twice. I think the one thing about the series that I really appreciated, and why I also consider this one of my favorite endings to a series, is because each book in this trilogy just got better and better. And I know some people hate that, where they're like, oh, I have to wait till the third book to where it's really good. I think all of the books are really good. I just thought each book was better than the last book. So the next question is Eyebrows, a book that you think everyone should read. I'm going to answer the question first and then do my eyebrows, because I don't think I'm going to be able to talk and do this. So the book I chose was Hood Feminism, and I recently finished this and really, really loved this book because it explores feminism through the lens of, well, she is a black woman, but it just explores feminism through a lens that's not white, and how white feminism is really damaging and is actually not feminism as we define it. So this was like a really great book that covered so many topics of feminism. So if you're curious what I do, I use a powder and then a, it's coming off, but I use a tinted brow gel. I don't know about you guys, but I suck at doing my eyebrows. It is the worst makeup thing that I do. But anyway, the next question is eyeshadow. Pick a book that has your favorite colors on the cover. I picked Spin the Dawn because I love this book and I love blue, anything in like the mustardy yellows, favorite colors. Also, I love this book. Did I say that? Yeah. It was like an unexpected love too. So eyeshadow is usually my favorite part. I'm using the Give It To Me Straight ColourPop palette for a pretty long time. I'm not even going to show it to you because I'm just not going to show it to you. The inside. And I have used the Morphe palette. I think this is called the Painted Desert palette. It has a lot of these like sandy, deserty colors, which makes sense since it's called Painted Desert. But I really love colors like that. And I have this palette too, which I probably won't use today, but I have the Morphe collection. It's the 335F Fall Into Frost one. I tend to like frosty eyeshadows, matte and frosty, but I don't know what I'm gonna do today. I also have another I like palettes. For a very long time I loved Nude Beach by The Balm, but this one is also on its last leg. I kind of only use this one. All the shadows that I really like, they've already hit pan, they're pretty much gone, but I use this one because my eyebrow color is in here. And then I have my 3 trusty brushes. These are all from It Cosmetics. They're okay. I just lied to you. These 2 are from It Cosmetics, and this one is from e.l.f. So now the eyeshadow's done. The next question is eyeliner. Pick a dark and mysterious book. I actually have 2, and that's Mexican Gothic and The Only Good Indians. I just really loved both of these books, and it was unexpected for me because they are both considered horror. They're vastly different from one another. As this says Mexican Gothic, this is like a gothic horror, and this one, I don't want to say it's more traditional horror. It is like that suspense, there's some gore and intense moments, but both of these books were really amazing and surprising for me because I don't read a lot of horror books. And both of them are actually pretty mysterious because there's some stuff going on in both of them where you're not sure what's like real and what's fake, or what's made up, or what's in somebody's mind. Do you guys like how I use my nose as a form of guidance? I didn't realize how hard it was going to be to do eyeliner and talk. Basically what I was saying was these are definitely very mysterious because you're trying to figure out what is real and what's in the narrator's head, but I can't stop thinking about either of them. So the next question is about mascara. Pick a long book. I wanted to pick a long book that I have actually read or have started reading, and so I picked Well of Ascension by Brandon Sanderson. I think it's like 740. It is 756 pages, so that's a pretty long book. It's not the longest one I own, but it's the longest one that I have actually attempted to read. So for mascara, I just use Maybelline, or this is not Maybelline, this is CoverGirl. This is called a Clump Crusher. It's not my favorite thing in the world. This is the primer that came with it. It's just called Lash Blast Amplify Primer. This isn't my favorite thing in the world. As a matter of fact, I don't love it. I don't think it does much of it. There's something in my eye. I don't actually think it does a lot for my lashes. Oh my god. It doesn't transfer underneath my eyes. If you guys have suggestions, please let me know. I've tried a lot of mascaras and they seem to transfer under my eye. Yes, I'm pretty sure it's because I don't wear powder. Notice how steadily the mirror just kept getting closer and closer to my face. So next question is blush. Pick a book that you had, or pick a book that had some cringe-worthy romance. Yeah. I really like wearing blush. I actually like always put on a blush, but I am not like fussed about what kind of blushes I use, so I just have the e.l.f. one and it looks like this. Oh, I'm not a beauty guru. What is this called? Mellow Mauve, which I think mauve colors look the most flattering on me, but honestly I'm probably gonna look at this video and be like, The next question is highlighter. Pick a book that brightened your day. I could pick so many books for this, but I want to talk about A Long Way to a Smaller Planet because this is one of my all-time favorite books. So I love A Long Way to a Smaller Planet. I've talked about this. I don't think I've posted the video yet. I talked about this in another video. It is, oh, by the way, I'm using Fenty Beauty. It's Lightning Dust. I don't think I've posted the video, but I've talked about this book. It's one of the books that introduced me into sci-fi. It is not technically a like space opera, but it is a sci-fi. And it's more along the lines of like sort of talking about how history tends to repeat itself, specifically in our ideals about what is wrong and what is right, morality, warfare, bigotry. It seems that history continues to repeat itself, and that's what this story is kind of exploring. But more so, it's exploring a space crew of people who are like a found family, and in terms of how the world is, or the universe, I guess, they shouldn't love each other or care about each other as much as they do, because the world's universe is basically telling them otherwise. So I just loved this book because it really is reflective of what we see throughout history and what we're continuing to see, and especially in the year of our Lord 2020, how we're continuing to see our biases and bigotry and racism and hate and sexism is still prevailing more than ever. This book talks about that, but in a way that I felt was extremely thoughtful and thought-provoking. Now, to be fair, I have not reread this book since I first read it, which like was 3 or 4 years ago. But I don't know, it brought up a lot of emotions for me, and I loved the characters. I particularly love the character Chef. And Rosemary, the main character, is a really great character. She's a great learner and listener, I guess you could say. And the final question and step is lipstick, your favorite book kiss. I love lipstick, but I don't wear it currently because, you know, we're in a pandemic and we're wearing masks, and like, what's the point? Also, what's the point of me even doing makeup? But oftentimes when I am filming, I do use like a little lip combo to spice it up, to make these videos a little bit spicy. But anyway, my favorite book kiss. Also, this one could apply for like lasting impression, brightened my day, a book that everybody should read. You know, now that I think about it, these books feel very similar. I don't like comparing books very much because I feel like it sets me up for disappointment and other people for disappointment. But I think the way that it made me feel and the topics that it discusses. So if you enjoyed the topics that were discussed in here and the way in which they were discussed and how wholesome and like the found family aspect, I really do think you'll like A Long Way to a Smaller Planet. I'm just trying to push this on everybody. I'm also going to put my glasses back on because I don't know about you guys out there who also wear glasses. I really have a hard time not wearing my glasses. It really just like bothers me that I can't see. So the combination that I use is Honest Beauty. You're not going to be able to read that. Honest Beauty and it's a truly kissable lip crayon, and it's called Sheer Petal Kiss. It's a mess. And then I use is this Laneige this and it is in Lip Glowy Balm Berry Fruits Rouge. I don't think those are all it just says Berry Fruits Rouge because that means berry. So my memory card ended up being full and it stopped recording, so I don't know where exactly it stopped. I know I was telling you about the lip products. So this is what the Honest Beauty looks like on my lips, and then I showed you that I use this on top of it just to make it a little more moisturizing. I think one of the things that I was talking about before the camera cut out was that, I don't know about you guys, but I always have chapstick on my person because chapped lips, I can't do it. I hate the feeling of dry lips. Anyway, that is the makeup and books tag. I hope that you guys enjoyed it, and if you've done this tag before, please let me know down below so I can look for it. Also, feel free to do this tag. I know that most people have done it, so I'm not going to tag anybody today because this is a fairly old tag. I just have always wanted to do it. So if you end up doing it as well, please let me know and I would love to watch it. But anyways, I hope you guys are having a good day or night, and I'll see you guys later. My cat's here. I wonder if I can get her in the frame. Come on. This is Olive. Say hi, Olive. She's not happy. She's not happy. Sorry. She still loves me. It's weird. She's very trusting. She's actually kind of like a dog. But same.